Many backward steps are made by standing still. Kevin Kelly. Well, my friends, you don't need to stand still. You can move forward with us every day. 10 to 15 minutes, that is all we ask. You see a different chart before you. Those who are watching, vice listening, I discovered that TC2000 is not uploading. I don't know if it's some cyber attack or just a problem with the mainframe. I almost never have anything like that happen. So I had to switch over to the TradingView chart. Those of you who are Patreon members, you're familiar with this chart, or at least this platform, because it's what I bring you every week with the charting crypto, because TradingView actually charts cryptocurrencies. Now, we are looking at pretty much our standard chart. You see the price percent oscillator down here set at the standard settings of 10, 24, and 8. And of course, we have our Heikin-Ashi candlesticks. You see the average true range bars around acting like Bollinger Bands. I actually like average true range better. Have it set at 1.5 over 14 periods. It lets me set my stops when and taking into account volatility. So if you're going short, I use the top one. You're going long, I use the bottom one. We can look over here and see where the markets are. We see stocks are down for the day. Bonds, gold are up. We can see Bitcoin if we look at the futures. And again, remember the New York Stock Exchange Bitcoin Index only reports once a day. Down for the day, 4.36% is where Bitcoin was pretty much. And again, I don't want to call up the 24-hour Bitcoin because we're trading on an ETF. We're watching it during the 8-hour segment. So, well, the hours that it is open from 9:30 until 4. So anyway, enough said there. Not going to jump into that. I've said that a few times on past shows. Let's see what these charts are doing. We look on the weekly chart on the S&P 500, lots of downward pressure, slowing down some for the week, but again, price percent oscillator hammering down. We go to the 2-day chart. We can see that again, it is heading up some, trying to move toward a crossover on this chart, still well above the 200 period EMA, exponential moving average. So again, still in the high territory, which is good, looking for up trades here. But of course, that 2-day still quite negative along with the weekly. We look at the half day, we can see that it is in negative territory as far as the 200 period EMA. Price percent oscillator is heading up, but we can see where things have moved up, flattened, moved up, and then sort of moved down there at the end of the day. So again, what's happening overall with the S&P 500? Still lots of downward pressure. Again, poised above that 200 period EMA to move up, but still lots of downward pressure there and down for the day. Now the NASDAQ 100 down even more, down 1.43%. Do have a spinning top right there after lots of down move in the prior week on this weekly chart. Price percent oscillator still heading down. We can see the histogram losing a little bit of downward momentum there. That can, of course, be seen in this spinning top, but still lots of downward pressure. What do we see on the 2-day? Well, we of course had that prior 2-day candle on the 28th, green up candle. We have another one here, price percent oscillator, those still negative, histogram losing downward momentum, but still negative also, bouncing back through that 200 period moving average line. So that's, a decent move that it's not just accelerating through that on that 2-day chart. And we go to the half day, and again, below the 200 period moving average line. And this, of course, is each one of these 200 period moving average lines are for that time frame. So that is the half day, 2-day, and the weekly. But it shows us in that time frame, where the pressure is. And of course, even though we see up moves here, still below. So when you're using EMAs to help you see, sort of strengths and weaknesses, you typically, the way I look at it is if you're above the 200 EMA. I'm looking for up moves on that chart. I know that I'm going to be fighting the trend on down moves. If I'm below that, I know I'm fighting the trend on up moves. So just keep that in mind. We see the price percent oscillators flat. We also see the histogram losing some upward momentum. Red down candle at the end of the day. And like we said, our big downer for the day, well, is Bitcoin, but we see as far as our two stock indexes go, the big downer is the NASDAQ 100. Now we go back to the weekly chart. A little different today. I appreciate your patience. What do we see on 20-year bonds? Well, we can see where they've blown through that 200-period moving average line. Price percent oscillator heading down. Green spinning top for the week. Lots of up movement, some down movement there too. But again, we still have lots of downward pressure. We go from the weekly to the 2-day. And again, we can see where we had all this 2-day and that 2-day crossover going up. And then this latest 2-day candle losing a lot of that momentum. Price percent oscillator still heading up. Histogram gaining momentum. But look at this, below the 200-period moving average line. Pay attention to that. Again, that just shows you, again, where the bigger wave of price is and where this hits it. Half-day chart also below. We can see where that price percent oscillator is laminated pretty much there, trying to cross over, going down at the end of the day. And again, some up movement throughout the course of the day, but those Heikin-Ashi candlesticks deteriorating, price percent oscillator deteriorating. So that's where we are on 20-year bonds. Go to gold. Gold up for the day, 0.60%. And we look at where gold is, and of course we can see that price percent oscillator spiking up quite nicely. Again, that price movement heading up. Haven't reached the high of the prior week, but a nice green up candle. Histogram gaining upward momentum. Looking good there. 2-day, again, we can see where we had that spike in price back on the 24th, and then how it has not hit those highs. In fact, lower lows, but again, continuing to move up. Price percent oscillator, the candle itself moving up, not hitting higher highs though. Price percent oscillator heading up. We can see the histogram weakening a little bit on this latest candle. And of course, we go from the 2-day to the half-day, and we can see where things had moved over down, popped over up, and then popped back over down. So again, some sideways sliding and weakness there. We can see where things had again hit that high back on the 24th. So we'll continue to watch and see how gold continues to move ahead, but still, as we look at that weekly chart, we can see lots of upward pressure, which is good. Now, let's take a look at what's happening with Bitcoin. As we look at Bitcoin, the reason I can't use the futures is you can see that it only started back in November, so we don't have a 200-period moving average line. We don't have all sorts of important stuff that we need, so we're going to use the New York Stock Exchange Bitcoin Index. We get to the smaller charts, we'll switch over to the futures chart. And what we see happening is, of course, Bitcoin, as far as, let me squeeze this in a little bit. You can see the 200-period moving average line. We are above it. Price percent oscillator still negative, heading up a little bit. Derivative oscillator or that histogram losing some downward momentum. Green candle up week, not crossing over though. We go to the 2-day chart, and of course it crossed over there back on the week ending the 7th of February. Up another week, sideways, down, I'm sorry, not a week, up 2 days, sideways 4 days, down 6 days. And then we see, however, these last two 2-day candles, things have been moving up. And again, I'd like to see that continue. Look at this. Isn't it interesting? Bouncing off the 200-period moving average line. I would say we saw that happen previously. So that's important. Let's see if it will continue testing that or move away from it and maybe Bitcoin take off again. Who knows? We'll wait, we'll watch, we'll see. Let's look at where we are on, let's see, I'm trying to get the half-day chart to read for us, and somehow that's seizing up on me. There we go. Okay, what do we see on the half-day? Well, we can see where it crossed over going up back in the morning on the 28th, and then headed up over the next couple of days, and then over the course of this last day, moving down in the morning and the afternoon. Still positive. Histogram losing some momentum. So we'll keep our eye on things as we continue to move forward. The main thing to take away from what's up with Bitcoin is that we saw that important bounce off the 200-period moving average line on the 2-day chart. And of course, we have a green candle forming for the week, price percent oscillator heading up. Maybe we'll have a crossover going up soon because the last one sure did us righteous, didn't it? We will watch, wait and see. Let these charts lead us. Thanks for your patience today. Hope I'll have our TC 2000 charts back tomorrow, but nonetheless, we work with what we have. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.